The Washington football team finished the 2019 NFL season with a disappointing 3-13 record, good for second to last in the entire NFL. And coming to the 2020 NFL season, no one had expectations whatsoever that this team would even reach the playoffs, because they have a corrupt front office and a pretty subpar roster. And for the first half of the NFL season, they met up to those expectations, starting off 2-7, which was last in the NFC East, which is currently one of the worst divisions in football. But then something has changed in the past 6 weeks, as since their 2-7 start, they have gone 4-2, and they're currently leading the NFC East with a 6-9 record. So looking at this and looking at their depth chart, the Washington football team looks like that they can be future division leaders and maybe even future contenders. What's up, everybody, it's AC Analysis, and today I'm going to be talking about the future of the Washington football team and why they are currently built for success. And we all know about the controversy that they had 4 or 5 months ago, in which they were forced to have a name change and many people in the front office were fired. So this season looked like it would be an absolute mess for the football team and they would go nowhere. But currently they're in the top seed of the NFC East and they really look like they're going to make a playoff spot. Currently, they're sitting at 6-9, but to make the playoffs, all they have to do is beat the 4-6-1 Philadelphia Eagles in Week 17, and they have a playoff spot for themselves. And their team is mainly led by their suffocating defense and Chase Young, their new phenom rookie of a draft pick. They even beat the 11-0 Steelers. So looking at this and looking at their roster, they really look like they're going to get a lot of success later down the line. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy consistent football content like this, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs and every sub helps. And the shout out for today's video goes to Luca D412. He makes a cool variety of NFL content and you guys should really check him out. And if you guys want to shout out to your channel, make sure to comment down below. We can help all of our channels grow together. And now with that being said, let's get right into the video. The main reason that the Washington football team hasn't been able to win games is because of their quarterback situation. And with the 15th pick in the 2018 NFL draft, they drafted Dwayne Haskins, who is a quarterback prospect from Ohio State University. And Ohio State wasn't really known for their quarterbacks. In fact, they were more known for bringing out busts of quarterbacks. But Dwayne Haskins looked different. But when he joined the football team, he was basically starter from week 1, and he was put into a very bad situation in which he didn't have a team around him, and he didn't have a good coaching staff, which I'll talk about later, causing him to be an absolute flop for the team, and he was labeled a bust and put up as a third-string quarterback behind Alex Smith and Kyle Allen. We know that Alex Smith got injured, but Dwayne Haskins wasn't able to play, and he wasn't put into a good situation to actually develop as a quarterback. Quarterbacks need a lot of time to develop in the NFL too. Let's put Patrick Mahomes into this situation. Mahomes was backup to Alex Smith, who is now quarterback of the football team, for a year, and he really learned, and he had a really good team around him with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Dwayne Haskins, on the other hand, really didn't have anything. And actually last week, it was just confirmed that he was released by the Washington football team, and he will be signing as a backup for another team. Currently, the Panthers look to be interested. But because of his release, Kyle Allen and Alex Smith have been taking rotations as quarterback. Kyle Allen this season actually is playing pretty solid with 610 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception in a 4-game period. But he actually tore his ACL against the Giants, causing Alex Smith to come in. And Smith has not been playing out of his mind or incredible or anything, but his story is pretty great. He got a leg injury that almost ended his career and forced him to get an amputation, but then he came back and he's playing solid for the team. His leg got injured again, causing them to have to pick up another quarterback to start, but he might start next week. And Alex Smith seems to be the future for the team for the rest of the season and coming into the playoffs, but in the draft, don't be surprised if they draft a quarterback or stick with Kyle Allen. Because Dwayne Haskins hasn't been playing as expected, Kyle Allen and Alex Smith have been the quarterbacks for the team. And the main starter was Kyle Allen, who was originally a backup to Cam Newton in Carolina. But in the 4 games that he has played, he has 610 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception, playing 4 games for the team. But he actually tore his ACL against the Giants, and he's out for the rest of the season, causing Alex Smith to come in. And Alex Smith hasn't been playing great or like a number 1 quarterback, but he is still getting the job done, and he does seem like he is going to be the starter for the team, coming back out of his horrific injury, and he's going to be the starter coming into the playoffs. But in the draft, don't be surprised if they draft a quarterback, or possibly try to stick with Kyle Allen and see if he is the future of the team. No matter who the future quarterback of the football team is, whether it's someone that they draft or it's Kyle Allen in which they keep, the fact of the matter is they will have tons of weapons around them to succeed, unlike Dwayne Haskins. And the thing that not enough people are talking about is how good the football team has been in the draft. In the third round, they drafted Terry McLaurin, and he's been one of the fastest and scariest deep threats in the entire NFL. This year with 1,100 yards and 3 touchdowns with 30 rushing yards. And McLaurin is easily one of the best wide receivers in the draft class, maybe only behind DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. And then another player that they drafted in this NFL draft is Antonio Gibson. And this season he has 729 yards and 11 touchdowns in 10 games, playing as an elite running back even though he has had some injury problems. So with all this, they have tons of weapons. And then they also got their tight end Logan Thomas, who is a former quarterback who's for some reason been playing very good in the NFL. So they will help the quarterback grow as a team. But the main strength of the team is the defense, not the weapons on the offense. Under defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, who's been in the league for 22 seasons, the Washington football team has one of the scariest defenses in the NFL, with many solid players like Kendall Fuller, Montez Sweat, Ronald Darby, and veteran Ryan Kerrigan. But they didn't have that one defensive player that really separated their defense from the rest of the NFL, and they got that player in the 2019 NFL draft. And with the second overall pick, they drafted Chase Young, a once-in-a-generation type prospect out of Ohio State. And this season he's played really good, playing as a team captain for the team with 7.5 sacks and 20 tackles, being one of the best defensive players in the league, and it's to the point where he's even getting double covered by offensive linemen. He is very good and he separates the team from the rest. And this defense looks very scary, and they need a good defense coming into the playoffs, because they most likely, being last, will play against a pretty good wildcard team. And playing against a good wildcard team, they will need a strong defense so that they can stop them, because at the end of the day, all the teams that they're going to be playing in the playoffs are better than them. I'm predicting that they probably play against the Colts. Not the highest powered offense, but it's still something to be scared of. With all this, I do believe that Kyle Allen is the future for the team. And then in the draft, they will draft a defensive back. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see as the time goes on. But this team does look like it has a bright future. And if they make a run in the playoffs, that will be very impressive. But I'm more excited for next year, in which their starting quarterback will be back, and this team will be full on healthy. Gibson and McLaurin will be 100%, and their team will be ready to actually be able to possibly lead the NFC East. We don't know yet, since Dallas still looks like a very talented team and Dak Prescott will be back, but we'll see what the future holds for the Washington football team. I could see them even going 8-8 next season. But with that being said, that'll wrap up this video. This has been AC Analysis talking about the Washington football team and their future. And if you guys enjoy videos like these, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs, and every sub helps. And if you guys want a shout out, make sure to comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you next time.